Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief. Today we are discussing the AI entrants on Time's 100 most influential companies list. The goal of this is absolutely not to reify this Time list as somehow definitive or really in any way authoritative. Instead, what's interesting is the slant that it takes as an extremely mainstream consumer-facing publication when it comes to attitudes about AI. So what we're going to do is review the companies on the list in the order that they are presented, talk a little bit about why they're here, and what it might say about how the world that's outside of the AI industry is looking in upon it. First off, we should note that Anthropic is one of the headliners. In fact, the company's CEO Dario is featured on one of the two commemorative covers of this alongside Selena Gomez. Here's what Time says about how the list is made. To select the list, our editors request suggestions and applications from across sectors, survey our contributors and correspondents around the world, and seek advice from outside experts. No single data point or financial metric makes a Time 100 company. Instead, we are looking at a mosaic of qualities, studying impact, innovation, ambition, and success, all in the many different forms that take shape today. Time 100 Companies is more than an index of business success. It is an argument for what business influence looks like in 2024. At a time when leadership in other sectors is battered, surveys suggest that many look to corporate leaders first for direction. The point being here that even Time itself is saying this is a highly subjective list and treat it as such. They organize it into 5 sections: leaders, disruptors, innovators, titans, and pioneers. As you'll see, I think those sections are fairly meaningless, but what are you going to do? The first company we're going to mention in this is actually not an AI-first company, but is in fact Reddit. Why would Reddit qualify as something to talk about on this AI show? Well, of course, the context for Time including them in this list is that the company went public this year, one of frankly very few companies to do so. Indeed, as Time points out, they're the first major social media company to go public since 2019. In its write-up, Time pointed out that, quote, Reddit's continued forays into artificial intelligence, including licensing deals with OpenAI and Google to use Reddit data to train and build their AI systems, could be key in determining the platform's future. Now, I would go farther than this. When Reddit was doing its roadshow before the IPO, they were heavily touting these AI deals as an indicator of how much value Reddit's data had. They were presented as something that could sustain the company and grow the company in the future outside of advertising. The market seems largely to have bought that message with a better than expected pop and continued performance as more deals have been announced. So even though Reddit isn't an AI company, the fact that it's showing how AI can help business models is, I think, something significant. From there, we move from the leaders section to the disruptors section, and an AI-related entrant there is CoreWeave. Time writes, amid the chip shortage, CoreWeave's horde of high-powered graphics processing units made it one of the largest GPU-specialized cloud service providers. Said co-founder and CEO Mike Intrator, if you're using AI in any part of your life, whether it's ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot, there's a good chance you're using CoreWeave's AI infrastructure. CoreWeave's flexible infrastructure is built to be more efficient for AI purposes, giving it a leg up on larger companies outfitted for general computing. The company also recently did a funding round at a $19 billion valuation and is also poised to potentially go public this year. As you'll see, many of the companies on this list that touch AI are touching it through the chip space. Over in innovators, we start to get a higher concentration of AI-related companies. Being a cover story, Anthropic has a much bigger piece than some of the others. Time called Anthropic the, quote, AI company betting that safety can be a winning strategy. In many ways, the piece sets up Anthropic as the alternative of OpenAI. They talk about how in the summer of 2022, the company had finished training a new chatbot, but because they were worried about the potential consequences, didn't decide to release it, whereas of course their rival OpenAI did a few months later in ChatGPT, which set off everything that we've seen subsequently. Time writes how both OpenAI's and Anthropic CEOs have made warnings about the risks of AI, but that many felt that Anthropic had greater credibility, quote, viewing Anthropic's decision to withhold Claude as a signal of its commitment to prioritizing safety over money and acclaim. Time writes, Anthropic is in the curious position of having a reputation as the most cautious AI company while also owning and selling access to one of today's most advanced versions of the technology. 3 days spent at their headquarters made it clear they don't see that as a contradiction. Anthropic frames what they're trying to do as spark a, quote, race to the top when it comes to AI safety. Said CEO Dario Amodei, we're not trying to say we're the good guys and the others are the bad guys. We're trying to pull the ecosystem in a direction where everyone can be the good guy. Now let's actually jump around to OpenAI's entrance on this list. They are there, but they're listed under pioneers. Basically, the whole write-up felt like it was written by someone who didn't really like OpenAI and who wanted to use this to critique them, but felt that it would hit their credibility as a list if they didn't include OpenAI. The lion's share of the couple hundred-word write-up is about recent OpenAI controversies, including the dust-up with Scarlett Johansson, as well as the leaders of the superalignment team leaving. So if you are wondering where Time's sympathies lie as it relates to questions of AI safety and specifically Anthropic versus OpenAI, I think this piece makes it pretty clear. Of course, as you would expect, NVIDIA is here. With Time writing, the AI boom has had many winners, but NVIDIA is the winningest. The company's value has surged by more than 450% since the AI race kicked off in late 2022. Also on the list is AMD, which they characterize as the chipmaker challenger. And basically it frames them as the big competitor to NVIDIA, but certainly not the only one. While they are of course doing something slightly different in the chip space, they also call out Cerebras systems, writing, "As AI systems proliferate, the demand for computing power to crunch large datasets has become monstrous. Cerebras, founded in 2015, has responded with the largest computer chip ever." Said CEO Andrew Feldman, "We didn't repurpose a graphics processing device. We said, what would we do if this was the only problem, the full purpose of our existence?" Time writes, while planning an IPO, the company is building the third of 9 $100 million supercomputers that will be connected by Emirati AI firm G42 to build the world's largest supercomputer for AI training. Now, Google and Microsoft are also on this list, largely for the way that they're interacting with AI. But the last company that I wanted to specifically reference was Mistral. Mistral is framed by Time as influential in two specific ways. First, as the standard bearer of European AI, but also as the standard bearer of open source AI. They write, Mistral's co-founder and CEO Arthur Mensch has been vocal in debates over the EU's landmark AI law, arguing that rather than regulating general-purpose AI models like Mistral's, lawmakers should focus on regulating how others use those models. He also opposes limitations on AI developers freely sharing their creations. He says, "I don't see any risk associated with open sourcing models. I only see benefits." So taking a step back, what's interesting about all of this is certainly the fact, A, that all of these different companies make this top 100 list, but also B, just how diverse the reasons for that are. Even this mainstream publication in the form of Time is seeing how many dimensions to this AI industry there really are, from chips to open source to the big frontier labs. I think this reflects a growing understanding of the importance of AI in the shape of the future of the economy and societies writ large, and I'm interested to see how this changes between now and the Time 100 Most Influential Companies 2025. For now, though, that is going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief. Until next time, peace.